Aloha Nui Patriots. It's Shari Raye with the verse of the day. April 11th, and Absalom sent for Ahithophel the Gilonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices. And the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom. 2 Samuel 15:12. The rebellion and violent death of Absalom were, without a doubt, the greatest trials of David's life, more so because he felt that he was to blame. David was now 56 years old, Absalom 24, and Solomon 6 years of age. Absalom easily deceived the people by a profession of devotion to them, and as easily deceived his father by a profession of devotion to God. 2 Samuel 15:2-6 and 15:7-8. Because man has fallen from God's moral image, he can readily deceive and be deceived, as it says in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 13. Deception and rebellion are grievous in any case. However, for such to lodge in the heart of one's own son and against David presents injury of the highest sort. Absalom reasoned that inasmuch as David had sinned with Bathsheba and had planned the murder of her husband, actions which were heinous indeed, he could take the throne. Most of the people of Israel agreed with him. However, God had not selected Absalom to take the throne. God had selected David. Even though David had sinned terribly, the Lord had not deposed him as king. If Absalom had succeeded in his plan, it would have destroyed Israel. At this time, Israel was one of the greatest nations in the world. It was prosperous far beyond most of the surrounding nations. This was all owed to David. However, most of the people did not recognize that, or else they didn't care. So they would put a deceiver on the throne. Thus, the conqueror of Goliath was hunted from his throne and dishonored in his home by his own son, and that in fulfillment of the word of the Lord. Such is God's holy wrath against sin, and such is the bitter fruit of sin. The sharp two-edged sword of the word of God was unsheathed against David. How just is God! But whom he loves he chastens, and accordingly, while thus revealing his righteous anger, he at the same time overruled these judgments to draw David into a closer fellowship with himself. The Lord did this in order to discipline and teach his heart, so that his sorrows, the fruit of his sins, became occasions of spiritual enrichment to him. This account, consequently, is a valuable testimony that God does not cast off his people when they sin against him, that he forgives them directly they confess their faults, that he overrules all to enrich their knowledge of himself, and that he furnishes them with expressions and sentiments proper to the restoration of the soul.